Abyssos is cunning despite his warped mind. Whatever took hold of Ericthonius made short work of his reason. From the moment he laid eyes upon me, I could sense his hatred and rage simmering below the surface. 'Twas but a matter of time until it spilled forth, and that was when he fell into the spell's embrace. Magic woven with such skill that Ericthonius himself failed to notice until it was too late. This is the measure of Hephaestus' power, and the other keywards had little chance to resist it. We saw his work during our encounter with Hesperus. Doubtless, Hephaestus' magic fed his admiration and envy until there was room for naught else in his heart. And there was something else besides. Did you not feel the presence of another? As I thought, someone was trying to warn Ericthonius, but whom? Could have been one of the keywords. Alas, their warning arrived too late. I had already provoked Ericthonius' past to the point of no return. I bear the burden for this failure. In my stubbornness, I could but scorn the boy, and Hephaestus knew that. Now I dread to think of the ordeal that awaits him due to my rashness. There is time yet to save him. We can easily regain control of Abyssos, giving us a firm foothold from which to brave Pandæmonium's lowest level. The enemy is within reach. Just as with Hesperus, Ericthonius is in danger of being consumed by Hephaestus' spell. However, I have faith that he will not easily lose sight of himself. The way forward is clear. Lahabre, pray tell us all you know of what we shall find beyond Abyssos. I can only assume one more keyword lies in wait. Deepest level of Pandæmonium is called Tartaros, and your passage shall be challenged not only by a keyword. Hephaestus has laid traps in every corner of its halls. You have no hope of surviving past the threshold. That, I expect, is where Caslo shall shine. This dissolute aether shall allow him to slip through the traps unimpeded. We saw it when Hephaestus had no effect, and doubtless even he has yet to devise a countermeasure. The time is of the essence. Hephaestus is already well aware that you can match a keyword in battle. He will not stand idle while you stroll past his other defenses at your leisure. Agreed. However, clarity will be indispensable to our success. I'm afraid I must insist upon it ere we depart. We have yet to discern to what end Hephaestus would use Ericthonius. If you know, I would ask that you enlighten us. And then there is the matter of Athena. Why do you so fiercely rebuke Ericthonius' feelings for his mother? While I understand that the very thought of resurrecting the dead is an anathema, you act as if grief over her passing should be equally so. How are we to grapple with what plagues our friend and drives our foe if you refuse to acknowledge it? I do acknowledge it. I wish only to spare those that feel it still greater pain. So instead of being honest, you bicker like a child. How dare you? No, you are right. Blame for Erchthonius' fate rests squarely on my shoulders. Very well. I shall lay bare the truth, but only after the foe before us has been laid low. The remaining keyword is Abyssos. She has served in Pandæmonium since its inception. Her affinity for magic is peerless even among other keywords. She was a hermaphroditic deity born when the Earth Mother was accidentally impregnated by the sleeping Sky God. Gods, in fear of the strange double-gendered being, castrated it, and so creating the goddess of Sibyl, fathered of Zeus and Gaia. That makes sense based upon that other story. Made her a little bit too female for what they were going for, because androgyny would be what you'd want. Abyssos knows that losing her would mean the end of his experiments. He has hidden her in a space unreachable by conventional means. But your presence makes mockery of such barriers. Scarcity of your aether means it will be trivial to send you directly to Abyssos. We shall approach as closely as caution will allow. We know where the battle will commence, so I do not anticipate difficulty in detecting your presence. From afar, I shall do my best to provide you with ground on which to fight and phantom allies to aid you. As for the internment, I have yet to think of a foolproof method. Internment shall not be necessary. From here, I can sense Abyssos' essence, but is scarcely recognizable. Hephaestus was more ambitious with her than he was with hegemony. She has been transfigured such that barely a scantling of herself remains. We can take comfort in what mercy the underworld will be to her. The moment Abyssos was slain, the flow of aether and Pandæmonium focused keenly on this location, creating a tunnel of sorts through which we could quickly convey ourselves. It was almost as if we were ushered here. The space was created with care, concealed with powerful wards. Only a keyword would have been able to detect it, and even then, with great difficulty. There go. If only I could restore Tataris to order. I'm afraid this is the most I can manage with such power as remains to me. It has been too long, Master La Habrea. Likewise, keyword Abyssos. Should not be surprised you were able to break free of Hephaestus' spells, even diminished as you were. It was not an easy task, even with your aid. His curses dig into one's heart, creating a storm of emotions that is all too easy to become lost in. Only by chance did a fragment of myself remain, illuminating a path through the madness. And thus am I able to appear before you now, even when my body was powerless to resist Hephaestus' commands. Some small part of my logical mind stood alone in defiance. It even managed to speak to the outside world. The report. That was you. Doubtless you recognize my voice from the many times I have called out to you. The hope that these pleas would not fall on deaf ears was all that kept me from succumbing to hopelessness. But I have a greater purpose here than simply saying my farewells. There is something you must know, that the tragedies of the past do not repeat in the present. Forgive me for what I am about to do, Master La Habrea. The story must be told. It is the only way to understand Hephaestus' fixation on Erechthonius. No longer can you hide your heart away. Hephaestus. No, the mask marks him as La Habrea. Master La Habrea had brought an end to Lady Athena's life, and sealed away a part of his memories and emotions within Hephaestus. These are my recollections of the moments following. And you truly have no intention of revealing the truth to Erechthonius. My lesser half is now buried where none can find it. It would be wise to do the same with our memory of this day. Blood should not sway the spirit so, but Athena's teachings have warped the boy. I fear he would see our star burn to keep his mother safe. Erechthonius believes that he feels love, but he is shackled by dependence. He could not bear the truth. His dependence makes it all more important to be open with him. He will seek answers about his mother's loss, which shall inevitably lead him to you. Are you willing to accept the blame for Athena's death? Are you willing to accept your son's hatred? That is what comes to pass, then so be it. Better to be burdened with hatred than knowledge that Athena thought his boy and his body and soul mere tools, to be used and disregarded. So, wait, was Athena experimenting on Erechthonius? La Habrea stopped her, and that's how she died. Even were I to tell him what his mother plotted, he would ever seek reasons to believe that the true fault lies with me, or with him. Should he merely hate me, he will remain unfettered by doubt, free to serve the star from his parent's shadow. Erechthonius loved his mother more than life itself, and yet, what a dreadful truth you've borne all this time. Such is La Habrea's nature. Every action, every word, a solution to life's greatest dilemmas, and none despair for his own. What I have revealed to you is but a small portion of a larger picture. I shall leave it to La Habrea to paint the rest for you, and for Erechthonius, I hope. Thank you, Abyssos. I always admired you, you know. What choice did I have when you sacrificed so much to guide our star to the heavens? Hephaestus has no doubt sensed that his final keyword is fallen. We shall return to the surface before he moves to strike us here. If we are to face him, we must be prepared to bring our full strength to bear. The vision you saw told the story far more eloquently than I ever could. Athena was consumed by her research and was willing to sacrifice her child that hastened her progress. She did not offer him a position here out of a sense of love or pride. It was merely because she knew he would be the most pliable test subject. I see now why you hid the truth from me. I cannot say with certainty that Erichthonios could handle the weight of such betrayal after holding his mother on a pedestal for so long. Unfortunately, it seems not even her death has ensured her safety. Hephaestus has taken up Athena's research and succeeded in creating hemethioe. I know not what his ultimate end is, but it is plain it is connected with the resurrection of Athena. That knowledge alone is sufficient to direct our next course of action. As for the rest of your story, we shall hear it after we have returned Erichthonios to safety, in accordance with Ecdistus, his last wish. God, that name. Very well. I can, at least, assure you that finding him should prove relatively simple now that Hephaestus can no longer bend Pandæmonium to his will. There is but one place left for him to find refuge, the Black Heart of Tartarus, where Athena built her testing compound. We can assume that Hephaestus will offer fierce resistance. I must focus my every effort on securing a safe means of approach. La Habrea, I would ask that you assume the duty of summoning Kaslo's phantom warriors. I have no objections. My ability to fight within Tartarus will be greatly diminished in any case. Heaven, I wish to deal the final blow to Hephaestus myself. There is no need to dirty your hands with such a deed. I take it then, you have no intent to seal him away as before. The presence I felt when I encountered Hephaestus bore little resemblance to the entity I created. By his own hand, he has become something far more wicked. And the same magics that once shackled him may very well shatter before the power he wields. On my pride as a researcher, I am loath to repeat the same mistake twice. I would not see these events play out again, and so he must be extinguished. Well then, I shall open the way forward. May we finish this together? Straight into the 8th circle. Chain of events that led to this moment began with Arab. When out of mercy I confined you here. Now I break it and leave no trace of you behind. This is not over. I see you will not go peacefully. Even a cast-off would uphold his pride, though such an impulse must seek to the overwhelming arrogance of my other half. The name Hephaestus shall grow to eclipse yours. None shall remember the deeds of La Habrea once I fulfill Athena's ambition and bring Erechthonios' dream to life. You speak as if you care a whit for the boy. Why then do you cower behind him? There are some desires which must not be realized. Athena would see the world destroyed if it meant she could find hers in the ruins. As for Erechthonios, he knows not what his wish would regret. Truth which you have hidden from him. You truly believe a father's role is to deceive and manipulate. My wish. You would claim the name Hephaestus and call yourself his father. You bind his mind and body in dark chains. Your words and your pride ring hollow. Athena wanted her son by her side, and he desires to return them. What wickedness is there in mending a broken family? Athena cared not for Erechthonios, beyond how he could serve her ends. He claimed to be acting in his interest, but 'tis plain you are no different. As I ushered Athena to her end, I vowed that my sole mission in life would be to guide the star true. In service to that vow, I silenced the whispers of my heart. Could not nurture a son, which an entire world looked to me for guidance. For that choice, I bear the responsibility. Yet he is still my son, and I'll not suffer you to seduce him with false hope. You, who are not but the bitter dregs of Athena and I, the very worst of us. Mother, she... No. Who? How do I? Come back to us. I hear you. I owe you, and Themis, an apology. Athena, did you ever? In La Habrea, I will have my say. How? His mine was mine. I can't explain, because those words reached me through the haze. They ring loud and clear. As did the words of another, in a voice much like yours, but resounding with truth. How? When did you master these bonds? Oh, we've endured much worse. Smirk a little bit. You worthless. You... The red crystal. appears my failures have borne fruit after all. Did well, son. I feel no trace of Hephaestus' poison in your mind. For a blessing, it appears your body is none worse for wear. I made my way here as soon as I could. I no longer sense Hephaestus, and the force assailing Pandæmonium's barriers has ceased. Are we rid of him for good and all? I see, despite his muddled senses, Erchthonius felt that to seal Hephaestus away was the proper course. It wasn't so noble as that. I only knew something had to be done, so I acted. La Habrea, was that how you dealt with Hephaestus in the past? Indeed. He was naught but the parts of my memory and soul that had cut away, a mass of aether without a material vessel. Storing his essence within a crystal was the most logical choice. On that matter, I believe the time has come for you to share the rest of your tale of Hephaestus' creation and Athena's end. I heard your words, but only vaguely, as if from under the surface of a deep pool. My mother wished to use me. I want to hear the whole truth. I want to know what happened here, what drove Athena to act as she did. I'm ready. Athena's brilliance outshone us all. Even the other members of the Words of La Habrea were as children in comparison. So dedicated to research was she that it was not unheard of for her to forget meals or even sleep. Her mind was ever grasping for knowledge, and it was in this endless search that she became obsessed with uncovering the secrets of life. You see, while we can conceive life in various forms, the means of creating a soul are beyond our ken. Similarly, though we can enhance and alter our physical vessels, we have ever been bound to them. Athena's purpose was to shatter these limitations. Such limitations as we were not meant to surpass. She sought to enter the realm of gods. Scarce few have the ability to comprehend what such a task entails, let alone the courage to attempt it. For most, she thought would be an idle fancy, considered once and then discarded. Not so for Athena. As leader of the Words of La Habrea, I spoke with her often about transcending our being. From an academic perspective, the challenge has plagued countless researchers through the ages. It was during these musings that I began to formulate a theory, a means by which a person could meld with a creation. Weaknesses of one would be mitigated by the strengths of the other, and the result could be something greater than we had ever imagined. Although it was but a theory, Athena insisted I develop it further, curious about every detail along the way. Conversations became more frequent, and our platonic relationship grew into something much more. I take it I was born not soon after. Just so, I believe she bore true affection for me. I was blind to her hidden intentions. When Pandæmonium was built, When she requested to lead the researchers, I saw no reason to deny her. Even setting aside our relationship, her accomplishments as a scholar made her the obvious choice. However, in giving her Pandæmonium, I gave her free rein to conduct whatsoever experiments she could devise. When you found out what she was doing, you killed her. I made haste to Pandæmonium the moment I learned of these hidden chambers. I left Abyssos to keep watch from Tartaro's festival as I ventured deeper, knowing not what would await me. As for what occurred next, 'tis best you see with your own eyes. Is that me? You are well aware that out of respect for our neighbors in Elpis, the researchers of Pandæmonium are not to be masked. Yet you stand before me with your face covered. What petty defiance is this? What indeed? So quick you are to rebuke me, though you yourself have not set foot in these halls since their inception. I must have known you could not conceal this from myself, and, at least this forever. As well you know that I cannot allow it to continue. I shall say this but once. Release Ericthonius, else I shall have no choice but to strike you down. I would meet my end at the hands of none other. However, ere my time has come, I will have you know the why of it. Then you will not desist. Once you understand what has driven me this far, you shall see that stopping was never an option. The feelings of one weigh little against the needs of the entire stock. Of course, of that I am well aware, but you did not deign to descend from your lofty heights simply to lecture me as you would a child. You have an interest in my motivations. What possessed Athena, peerless researcher and mother to the son of the great Laha Brea, to embark upon her path to her downfall? History will demand an answer, but it is you who deserves one. Give me your hand, Laha Brea, and I must thirst about. Possible. You bonded your souls. Aye, that the boundaries between us would cease to be. She offered me everything, to be understood. I found myself unable to refuse. At that moment, my mind was a storm of questions, yet one roared the loudest. Did Athena ever truly love me? I am become thee, memory and mind. And I thee. Can you feel it? My heart, all that I am. Yes, as if it were my own. Fathom's desire to dissect the mysteries of life, to transcend our mortal flesh, and bleed into a higher plane of existence. An unquenchable thirst for knowledge, not a single thought spared for another, for the star. Not disappointing. Yet what is known cannot be unknown. You have beheld my life's work. Try as you might to excise the memory, the seed of desire remains. And when it takes root, you too shall be consumed by the self-same fervor. I will dig it out. I will dispense with the corruption in my soul, ere your rotten insight spreads. 'Twas my weakness that let this wickedness fester. Never again. Today I cast aside fickle emotion, and abide. Today I renounce all that I was, and live only as La Habrea. Thus did I forsake the part of myself that had been polluted by Athena, sealing it within a crystal. Never did I think that I would one day face those memories made flesh. Forgive my bluntness, but your actions bordered on insanity. You were to such lengths to escape your memories. You nearly rewrote your very existence. Rest assured, the change did not go unnoticed by our colleagues in the convocation. Aeorm and Emetselk in particular made plain the suspicions they harbored. As well they should have. That you escaped with your life was nothing short of a miracle. Why didn't you destroy the crystal then and there? Did you think to one day make use of the knowledge it contained? Well, not to die, such considerations played into my decision, but my main motivation was fear. I had never attempted such a feat before. The crystal was my sole recourse should something go awry within the remainder of my soul. In hindsight, to cling to it was a mistake born of doubt. Athena must have anticipated that I would resort to such measures, and prepared a vessel beforehand that would accept the dregs of my soul. Festus doubtless believed he was performing his duty as a husband and father should, yet in truth he was but a puppet being pulled to and fro by Athena's desires. His goal was not to raise himself high, he thought only of seeing his dear Athena live again, that she might finish what she began. Yet for all that, he and I were alike. We yet shared a fatal flaw. See, our need for control blinded us to other perspectives. While I was a thrall to Hephaestus, you called out to me. What do you say now? Does La Habrea speak the truth? does your heart tell you? I just want to know one thing. Did you truly believe that hiding the truth was best for me, even knowing how I felt about my mother? The La Habrea I know had a fatal flaw, after all. I'm still not convinced. I've said all that I can say. Now it is for you to choose to believe me, or not. The La Habrea I know holds duty above all else. I would sooner prostrate myself before an erupting volcano and place my fickle emotions in his path. When you return to the surface, we'll doubtless down that mask once more. So before we climb out of this forsaken pit, I suppose I should say, thank you, Hephaestus. Having some theories here. Because a lot of the stuff that Athena was talking about doing is stuff that the Asians began to master at the time that we knew them. And maybe there was still a little bit of a seed of Athena's joining to La Habrea, and over the centuries, that's what kind of drove him to kind of be the more madman that we knew in A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. It's at least my current theory. I owe you an apology, Cassie. It was due to my own inexperience that Hephaestus was so easily able to take hold of my mind. I also owe you thanks. If you and Themis hadn't chosen to brave the chaos occurring in Pandæmonium, then I would never have known La Habrea's story, my father's story. 'Twas a tale I, too, was fascinated to hear. I very much look forward to speaking with the Zem once upon my return. I cannot help but wonder how much of this he foresaw. I'm afraid I cannot allow that, Elidibus. So long as you retain control of Pandæmonium, there is work to be done. But of course, I shall first free the remaining warders and restore this place to its former glory. Using the facilities in Tartarus, we should be able to reverse the changes made to their bodies and minds. I shall stay behind to oversee the process. That is well, but I must yet learn why I was considered the key to Hephaestus' experiments, and how he intended to revive Athena. Such questions are best left unanswered. In fact, I forbid the pursuit of such knowledge. The boundary between man and creation shall never again be crossed. And I intend to destroy the crystal containing Hephaestus' essence, that this mistake never again repeats. I see no reason to gainsay your judgment. There's yet the matter of your crystal, however. Truth be told, I had not considered its origin until I saw the one containing Hephaestus' aether. I was struck by how wholly different they were. There is another. While imbuing a crystal with memories is a simple process, storing a message, a warning even, would be something altogether more complex. This also means that someone besides the present company, and a Zem, was aware of the plot unfolding within Pandæmonium. Then why would they not make themselves known, even now? No threats remain. Perhaps it was one of the other warders. We shall question them after they are freed. That task may take some time, a resource I'd rather not steal more of from you. To Return at your leisure, and we will share our results then. You've done more than enough for the time being. I am of the same mind. Leave the loose ends to us and continue upon your journey. Or if you're so inclined, take a much-needed repose. Talks of journeys, smacks of a zen. As well it should. He has pledged to keep moving until he has seen every corner of the world. If you find yourself with a spare moment, you might bring that crystal of yours to La Habrea. He may be able to offer further insight. Until then, my friend. Why, if it isn't Castle. Excuse me if I'm not my usually chipper self. We have not been without our difficulties in your absence. You see, communications with the airship Professor Claudian commissioned for a search was lost some time ago. And now we have quite lost track of where he might be. And to make matters worse, Nemenji has just sent word of an unusually large amount of energy coming from somewhere within the ethereal sea. I was just on my way to the Iodoscope, in fact. Please, you must come with me. Or we're going to enter Pandæmonium in the Iodoscope. What? What is that? Is it real? Why is that wherever danger visits the world, you are never far behind? And you two, Professor Claudian's assistants, I take it? As you arrived before me, I take it you are involved in this. I would think you to furnish me with an explanation. While the research summary you submitted to the forum gave us no cause for concern, these details are alarming. The Professor's last message indicated he was on his way to Az's Law, but we know not whether he reached his destination. A rash endeavor, even for Claudian, but he's ever allowed the thrill of discovery to cloud his better judgment. We have no recourse but to entreat Ishgard's aid in searching for him. As for that unsightly fortress which materialized in the ethereal sea, Pandæmonium was it? It cannot be left alone. For the time being, information regarding this matter must be strictly controlled, as to minimize panic. We will gather those with knowledge of the ethereal sea, and continue monitoring it for further irregularities. You two, submit a detailed report to the forum at once. At present, we have far more questions than answers. Nevertheless, I would ask for your assistance at such a time that our investigation is concluded. Very good. Now, if you will excuse me, I must apprise the forum of what has occurred here. And that's Pandæmonium. I don't know where we go from here. Do we go back to the past? Or are we going to be fighting Pandæmonium in the ethereal sea? I guess we'll find out in 8 months. But lots to think about, especially the idea that our La Habrea got a little bit crazy because of his merging with Athena finally caught up with him. Alright guys, we'll see you at the next Pandæmonium.